Hi, my name's Sam Pansino and we're here at Flat Audio Concepts for NsayneTV, the show about modified cars and custom car audio systems. Today we've got a bit of a special one for you. We're going to show you how to fit a motorised Tonno lid kit. Basically, if you've got a Tonno lid, like a hard fiberglass lid or a plastic lid, a lot of the VTs, VXs, VY, VZ utes, Maloo utes, the VEs and stuff, the BAs, the BFs. So instead of having your gas struts lifting it up for you, you can now do it via motorisation. And we're going to show you exactly how to fit it. Thanks to the guys down at AKI, Australian Custom Imports. Streak is the brand. It's the kit that you can buy. Retails for $650 for the complete kit. Comes with some insane brackets. Can be used in almost any type of ute application. But once you see it working, you can use it in more than just a hard lid ute. You can use it on your boot lids. You can use it on anything that requires motorisation. This kit comes complete from A to Z. It's got all your wiring, your relays, everything. We're going to show you how we fit it into a ute. Then you get to watch it working. So let's go and have a look at how the professionals do it. I said. Welcome to this week's episode of Insane Hands. On this job, I'm actually going to need another pair of Insane Hands.
Here's a pair I prepared earlier.
Thank you. Cool. What we're going to fit here is a motorised Tonno cover kit. Did I say that right?
You did. It's a mouthful.
No, there's still room for more. Dun, 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 dun. What we have here, and these are pretty damn cool and can be used for more than just the Tonno kits. Streaker, that's from AKI, Australian Custom Imports. They've made one of the coolest little kits available on the market. Basically, it's a dual kit, so you've got two motors. We'll be placing these one either side of the back of the ute. We'll be getting rid of the struts once it's finished, and through either the factory remote boot release key, or what we'll be doing for this one is fitting a separate switch because it doesn't have the remote key feature. We'll just be flick of a switch, the hard lid comes up, and flick of a switch, hard lid comes back down, and it holds it down so you don't have to worry about latching it back down again. Pretty damn cool. Let's show you what's in the kit. The most important thing of all, the installation guide. That's going to be pretty cool. Make sure you follow that. So, but if you get stuck, keep watching this and we'll show you how you do it. Then if we open her up, this is where it gets really, really cool. First, you get your bag of accessories. Everything you're going to need to fit this is all in here. So AKI really nailed it with this one. They give you everything you need, from terminals to bolts to wiring, relays, fuses. Switches, everything. Yeah, it's bloody awesome. And next up, these are the pièces de résistance. Check out these brackets. This is a universal bracket. Basically, we've got threaded, or I won't say threaded studs, but we've got a threaded piece of metal on the bottom here. That'll sit on the bottom of the ute. It'll be bolted in from underneath, just in case your battery dies or for some reason something goes wrong with one of the motors. You need to be able to slide under the car with a ratchet, undo a couple of bolts, and that way the whole kit will still lift up, and then you can service whatever's gone horribly wrong. So hopefully nothing does go horribly wrong, but unfortunately if you've got a big, because we're going to be fitting a bit of an audio system back here, we're probably going to get quite a few flat batteries happening, so we've got to make sure that if anything does go wrong and we lose power for some reason, you can lift these with ease. If we had have mounted them to the original brackets, if power dies, there's no way of making these motors move. Because they're a worm-driven motor, they're not going to be able to move. So
once they're down, they're locked.
Yeah, so the advantage of these is if something does go wrong and you lose power for any reason, unbolt these, up she comes, and then you can service whatever needs to be done. So let's keep going through this kit.
There you go. It comes with two brackets. One
for each side. So
pre-drilled, and obviously if you need to make your own holes, you can drill whichever
extra holes
you need.
Because they are a multi-purpose kit, you can fit them into basically any kind of vehicle. So once you do all your measurements, we'll show you what measurements you need to do to start with as well. This is where the magic happens. This is cool, having an extra pair of Insane Hands. Look at that.
It's a 12-inch linear actuator. These things lift, is it 100 kilos each? Plenty of grunt to lift the Tonno cover, no problem at all.
They've got like a little ball joint in there as well, almost, so it can swivel around a bit as well, which is pretty damn cool.
And obviously the way you would mount these would be, and the way we will mount them, is in here, off the bracket, sitting like this, connected to the top of the Tonno kit, and that'll push it up out of the way. You've got to make sure when you mount these that they are on the angle to start with. If you have them sitting flat, it's going to want to push that way. You need it to actually push up. So very important the way you mount it.
Oh, keep coming this out. Keep coming. That's great English. We'll keep coming this out. Bit of Clayton there. So the first thing you need to do is take a measurement from the top of your ute tray to the top of the Tonno lid. Yoink. What we've got here is 83 centimetre lift. So once we've got the motors in place and we've lifted it all up, we'll then measure it again and we'll see if we've lost any height. Now, being that it's a universal kit, you might lose 5-10 centimetres, but 5-10 centimetres back here on something this high, you're not going to notice a difference, especially someone for as short as me. It's not an issue.
That's about 5 centimetres there.
From there to there, yeah. Punteenth.
Punteenth.
It's a smidgen, and in case you want to know what a smidgen is, it's a small pigeon. We measure things in small pigeons around here. All right, let's start with the location of the brackets. Yeah. We're not going to put the tub liner back in this car.
Okay.
So basically he doesn't want the tub liner in because we're going to be doing a big audio system at a later date. So first thing you need to do is basically figure out where we're going to place the brackets. We're going to have one on this side and one on that side. And then what we'd like to do is have the motors on the inside. So if I can somehow hold that without dropping it. The motor will sit somewhere about there and we'll make our brackets to go up top on the Tonno lid as well. First things first, we don't want the motors to interfere with the width of the actual wheel arches, so that way you don't lose any distance. So we want them to sort of like run parallel with the wheel arch itself. So we place it about there. Then you just get a texture and mark a line across so we know that we're running straight with the wheel arch. Then from there we'll take a measurement from the back here. Probably we go about 420. I'll make a mark there. Brett, if you can do the same on your side, just make a mark from your wheel arch and go 420 on the other side. So what we're doing here now is we're just measuring from the back of the ute, using it as a reference point, measuring 420 millimetres forward, so we know exactly that the brackets will be on the same point at each side. All good?
All good.
Now I think it's time to drill. So you've marked your little holes as well where the holes are?
Mark the holes.
So because you've got your 2 little holes there, put 2 holes in the ground, we'll start drilling through. But before you drill through, get underneath, get a torch, make sure you're not going to be drilling through any brake lines or fuel lines or anything like that. So if you'll kindly pass me the torch. Yeah, having a look here, the wheel arch is nice and open. Where we're going to make our holes, there's absolutely nothing in the way. So when I've double checked the other side, I'll just make sure that's fine as well. And we're right to drill. When drilling holes, always drill a primer hole first. We use the 1/8 drill bit just as our first little pilot hole. So we'll run that through the floor first, then we're going to up change it to the 3/8 or the 9mm drill bit, because that's going to give us enough room for the bolts to move around a bit inside, so it gives you a bit of play, and then we're ready to bolt this kit in. So let's do some drilling. We've now got our 3/8 or 9mm drill bit. And if I grab one of the bolts, I can just make sure that it's the right size, although it should be.
You got the bolts going.
Here's a bolt I prepared earlier. Now these bolts out of the kit, they're really long, so depending on where you put them through, once you know where they've got to go, you can trim them down to whatever size you need. Moves around a bit, beautiful. There, we put a large washer on there as well, so that way it helps disperse the weight a bit underneath. These things are ready to bolt on. What do you say, we'll bolt them on?
Let's bolt them on.
We'll place that there. Alright, Brett's going to hold the bracket for us. I'm going to get underneath, and I've got my torch, got my ratchet, got my bolts. Let's bolt this sucker in. I must say, I love these brackets because they've been pre-threaded. It makes it so easy to fit. You don't have to worry about nuts spinning on top, and once again, if you ever need to lift the hard lid for any reason, because those brackets are threaded, it goes in real easy. And all I got to do is find this ratchet.
Under the torch.
Yeah, bud. We're lined up.
Yep.
How we're looking?
Looking good.
Okay, that's bracket number
Brackets
one.
look good too.
Thanks. Check it out. Let's do the other side and we'll keep going. What we've made here is a bit of a dispersion plate as well, just to help disperse the weight. Because the back of the ute where we're putting this, the metal gets really thin sometimes. So instead of just using the washers, we've found that if we put these through here, it helps disperse the weight, making the brackets a bit tighter. So you don't have to do it for every instance, but for this one, we just found that once the brackets were in the back of the metal, you could see the floor moving a bit. Get yourself an extra bracket, make a couple of holes, just once again use your brackets that it comes with as your template, and off you go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Next step, once we've got the brackets all nice and securely mounted, is to find out where the motors are going to go. So you need your little motor mounting bolt. So it's part of the kit. Once again, this kit is just full of everything you need. So this is our little motor mounting bolt. So basically the motor will slide on this side goes through the bracket, tightens it all up. You've got little nylon lock washers, little nylon lock nuts. What's the correct terminology?
A nylock.
A nylock. We'll go for the third hole down just to start with. Once again, you won't get these right first time round. It takes a lot of trial and error. So we're just going to try this, make sure the angle's right. And what we're going to have to do is, Brett's going to have to get inside the tray. We're going to lower the hard lid. He's excited about it. Then we're going to put the motor in its collapsed position, see where it's going to sit. So we're going to need this piece, which is also in the kit. This is where the end of the motor bolts to, and that's going to end up screwing onto these. But what we do, because these are a fiberglass lid, we've got this extra flat bracket. So we look from there, it looks nice and flat. What we're going to do is basically take out the original strut mount, the gas strut mount. This will screw into the factory strut mount, and then our bracket will be placed about here on the bracket, and then a couple of extra bolts at the back just to help disperse the weight. That's going to sit in place about there, and once we get it in the right spot, we'll know exactly where that's going to sit, and we're right to mount.
Ready to go.
Alright, so we'll tighten this up, we'll get a motor on there, we'll drop the Tonno lid, and we'll see where this has to go.
Let's do it.
Well, being that we're all humans, even we need a break, so we're going to stop on the ute just for a little while, because Brett's got something to teach us about subwoofers in the Brett files. So he's covered all the other components in the audio system. Now it's time to cover some subs, and you'll get to see my new hairstyle yet again. It's time for the Brett files, the Brett files, the Brett. I believe, with my pigtails, it's
The Brett Files.
Who are you?
I'm Brett. Who are you?
I'm Stupid Sam. How y'all doing?
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
Cool.
Yes. This is the Brett Files. I'm Brett Morris. That's another version of Stupid Sam. This is Fat Audio Concepts. Today, I think last week we talked about speakers. This time we're going to talk about really big speakers, and that's subwoofers. It's very hard to talk straight.
I'm not having any trouble.
Cool. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Subwoofers.
Yes.
Why do we need them?
Well, you need them to reproduce all that deep bass that is part of the music spectrum.
Why can't a 5 1/4 inch speaker produce the same bass as this?
Basically, it physically can't move enough air. That's all sound waves are, is air movement.
Yep.
A speaker is just a giant air pump, and a little 5-inch speaker, even a 6-inch, can't reproduce the same amount of air movement that the subwoofer can. So you have a dedicated subwoofer to do that.
And what does that help achieve in the car? I mean, you're talking about these low bass notes.
Yep.
I've noticed that when I'm in a car and I start driving and I don't have the sub on, all of a sudden, all the mid bass just disappears. It's like all the lower end just goes out of the car.
Well, while you're driving along, you got resonance through the car. Obviously, using sound deadening, like roadkill, will help a lot of that, but doesn't get rid of all of it, and it will cancel out a lot of the lower end frequencies. So, putting a subwoofer in your car helps reinforce those frequencies as well while you're driving.
subwoofer selection, because obviously this is going to help get over that road noise issue if I had a bigger speaker to give me that bottom end bass so I can get that bit more warmer sound. 10 inch or a 12 inch, 8 inch, 15 inch, what's...
Look, again, it depends on the sort of music you listen to. If you listen to a lot of natural sort of, you know, rock and roll, that sort of bass, real bass, a good 10 inch or a 12 inch. Some cars, space-wise, you know, you're limited to running an 8, and I have heard of some cars, we've done some cars that an 8 inches work incredibly. Generally they're your smaller cars, but if you've got a medium to large sedan, you know, your typical Commodore, that size car, then at least a pair of 10s or a single 12 at a minimum.
Yeah.
Just enough to help overcome the road noise and to get it through into the cabin.
There you go.
Everyone knows that the Boston G5s are one of our favourite subs. I do believe the normal Sam, I don't know if the stupid Sam has them, but the normal Sam, I'm pretty sure, has 2 of them in his car as well.
Yeah.
Mounted, they're inverted, so the magnets are hanging out so you can see them, and they actually look like this.
And I tell ya, this sub's damn heavy. It's a lot heavier than that speaker.
Yeah, I think they're about 15 kilos, something around there.
Which means I'm pretty strong if I'm able to hold this. So, and I noticed this has got some fuses on it. What are the fuses on the sub for?
Well, with the Boston subs, one of the bonuses of them is they actually have the fuse there to protect the speaker. If the amplifier is starting to run a little bit inefficient, you know, if it's a smaller amplifier or if there's too much signal getting through to the sub that can cause it to blow up, it'll pop the fuses instead of popping the speaker itself. So it saves the speaker in the long run.
Alright, so if I was to come to you and say, I only listen to dance music, what sub would you tell me to use?
I would probably say use a 12-inch sub in a relatively small box, something that's nice and punchy.
Yeah.
You know, so because a lot of dance music doesn't have the bottom end extension, you know, the very deep bass. So
whereas R&B sort of has that deeper
R&B,
bass.
yeah. Look, bigger seal boxes. Possibly even if R&B is the only thing you listen to,
yeah,
then a tuned ported box would probably be the way to go.
Because it gives you that lower thump.
That'll give you the really deep bass that you really do feel in the pit of your stomach.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But if I was to be a rock, I want rock music.
Then a small to medium sized sealed box. Something, you know, for a 12-inch sub, around the 1 cubic foot mark, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
28 litres. That's a good all-round sub enclosure size, and yeah, that'll rock.
Excellent. So, well, I think that covers us with subs. Yeah. I think next up you're going to show me how to wire up amps. Like, what wire do I need to get my wiring system happening in the car?
I can do that.
From the head unit right through to the amps in the back, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
No problem at all. We'll do that.
Well, that's Brett.
I'm Brett.
I said that.
You said that.
I said that's
okay.
Brett.
His stupid Sam must be rubbing off on me. I'm Brett. That's stupid Sam with that stupid hair. This is Fat Audio Concept, and that was Brett Files. See you next week.
See y'all.
Ciao.
That was the Brett Files. Hope you learnt about subs and why you need them. Now I think it's time that we jump back in the ute and let's see if we can get this motorization working. Let's go.
Maybe you did that.
So we're just going to get our motor, place her on there like so. We'll lie that down in there. We've got an extended motor. What we've done is extended one of the motors so we can see where it's got to sit in its lowered position. Then when it's all out, we'll put this one in place and see where it's got to go in its up position, and then we can work out where the brackets are going to go exactly. So we'll move this on the other side, and then you get to do what you've been hanging to do all day. Right, what we're going to do is basically, once the Tonno lid is down, we'll be sitting that through the eye of the actual motor, and then we'll just mark out with a texter on this where it's going to sit.
On the lid.
That's yours. That's yours.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Open up now.
We got our marks?
3. 3 points.
Excellent. We've got our extended motor ready to go. We've got our bracket ready to go, but before we see if it's going to sit in the right spot, we just need to pop the struts off. So let's quickly pop a strut off. Thank you, sir. Now always do this with a helping hand, because if this drops, you're going to hold the whole weight of the heart of the Tonno lid by yourself, which can be dangerous. You want to do your side. Next up, comes in the kit. This is the bolt that goes through the eye of the top of the motor. So you got your two big washers, your little washer that I just dropped. So the way this is going to sit, we're going to be mounting this about there. We've marked out where the motor sits when it's lowered. Now we know where it's going to sit when it's up. So now it's time to mount this to our long metal bracket that's going to bolt into the original location, and we'll get this motor mounted up. Let's see how she works. So our next step is to mount our flat bracket into the original mounting holes, because these have got the riveted threads into the hard lid, and that's like the hardest part of the Tonno lid, because it's all been reinforced around there, and that'll help disperse the weight across the whole top of the lid basically. So let's pop these off. Alright, what you do is, once you've taken this plate off, you just sit it onto your other plate that comes with the kit, mark out your holes, drill them through, and that's where it's going to be mounted back onto the top of the Tonno lid. What we're doing is just adding an extra couple of bolts at the back to help disperse the weight again. Next up, we're going to mount this into the location where we placed this, so when it was in its down position, we knew where the motor goes. When it's in its up position, this is where it had to go. Okay, now comes the tricky bit, making sure you get all these in the right order. Bolt goes through first, then the first of the spacers go through, then the motor goes on, then the second spacer, bolt goes right through, then you get the washer and the nut on the end. Could you slowly lift the back of it up for us? Keep on lifting, yeah more.
We said 5 minutes.
Yep. Alright. Can I have the two 13 mils? Okay, what I'm doing here is just tightening up all the nuts now. And then it's off to the other side. We'll put the other motor on, we'll just extend it out, put it all in place. Then we're ready to test. Can't wait, it's going to be hot. What we're going to do here is Brett's just going to power up the motor. I've just put the bolt through to stop it from spinning, and we're just going to extend it all the way out. So, if you will, kind sir. So you can imagine this lifting a boot lid, a bonnet, a audio amp rack. A what?
Plasma screen.
Plasma screens, doors,
Joe.
seats. You can motorise Joe, yeah, if you want to, you can motorise Joe.
I really want to motorise Joe.
Okay. That's it.
As I mentioned, they've got self-limiters in them.
And for those that don't know, the motors have got self-limiters for the up and down travel as well, which are fully adjustable from the back of the motor. Up. Up.
Wow.
what we've done to run the wiring through, we've just removed the side covers here. We've also lifted up the fuel tank cover. We've got the wiring just temporarily run to the motor. So before we get it all locked into place, we've just put a couple of bullet terminals on. We're just going to do a few adjustments, make sure she's all sweet. Then we're good to do the final wiring, and this is good to go. So we're just waiting for Brett to terminate the other side, and we're ready for our first test. You nearly ready for your test?
I'm nearly ready for my test.
Cool. Okay, with both motors fully out, a little measurement to make before you do anything. It's just from the start of the actual actuator to the eye of the actual bolt. So we go here. I've got, what do we got? Here. I got 335 mil. So I'll just get Brett to check the other side for us.
335 mil.
They're the same height.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this thing should be right to go. That should now open all the way. It's hard. Beautiful. Well, there you have it. Motorised Tonno lid kit from Streaker, supplied through Australian Custom Imports. And mate, these things are so universal, they're beyond a joke. So many different uses you could do with these, and yeah, if you've got a creative mind, you can get carried away. So we're just going to finish running the wiring through where we need to, and this thing's good to go. So yet another great brand from AKI. Keep up the good work, guys. Hope you enjoyed Insane Hands. We'll see you next time. I'd like to remind you about joining our Facebook group. Just search for Fat Audio Concepts, join, and chat with other car enthusiasts. Leave questions and comments and feedback for either myself or Brett, and we'll do the best to incorporate your feedback into the show. So instead of having the struts, we're going to be replacing it with, believe it or not, it's just a tiny bit this way. And there's our take number one. Good, what about you?
Everyone interrupts the Brett files. No one ever interrupts the workshop tour.
Anything with a hard lid ute, so instead of having your rubber, what do you want to call it? I've totally f***ed it and I'm going to start it again. Can you edit the first half?
No one ever interrupts, the feature car. It's always the Brett files. I don't get it.
We're going to show you how to fit a motorised hard lid. We're going to show you how to fit a motorised Tonno hard lid. Oh, good.
It's always a Brett file.
Each other out.
Yeah, it's always Brett files.
Cool.
Is he filming? Yes, he's filming. Of course he's filming. That's what we're here. We're filming.
Oh, we're not going to
the Brett files.
Late, but give me a Thanks to the guys down at Streaker.